I got my pistons back from Diamond, recoated. I'm still up in the air if that's the best option, but got my old rings laid out and measured. All right, old rings at the top, new rings at the bottom. For me to file my new rings, so all I'm going to do is copy the specs of the top as close as I can get it. One cylinder took me about, I'll say 10 to 15 minutes to get the top ring. The bottom ring was very close as it was, but the top ring, I think the first measurement was like, I want to say I was 0.013, and then I had to file it down to 0.023, just because I'm copying my old spec, because that's what the original engine builder did. So I'm not an engine builder, I'm just copying what they did. So hopefully that's good enough, and they all seem to be very close. And same with the other one, they're all within like 4 thou. Guess that's not really close in the machine world, but. So I got my filer here attached to the vise. Got my pistons back from Diamond. Hopefully this coating doesn't come off. I don't know. Time will tell. But that's the update. Time consuming to file these piston rings. I got new bearings. See them down there. I finished measuring and filing all my rings. These are, the bottom row are my new rings. The top row is the old rings, and alls I did was I just tried to get them as close as possible, and the saying goes it's always better to go bigger than to be too small. So if I was close, I just went a touch over. See, that was at 1 thou over, 2 thou over, but most of the other ones are pretty spot on. This is the top ring, so it's 2 thou over, 1 thou over. But anyway, this was like a daunting task that I didn't want to do. So I'd take the ring out of the box, test fit it in the cylinder, measure it with, the feeler gauges, and then grind it if it needed to be grinded, which almost all of them needed to be grinded. Test fit again, measure, and then wash, rinse, repeat, and do that, and do that, and do that for every single ring. This is what the new coating looks like on the Diamond pistons that I got back. Yeah, it looks like overspray right there. See that right there, like that tape job? Probably could have been better. I'm gonna have a hard time trusting this stuff. But, I mean, other people run these. So you gotta think it's good enough. Alright, my tuner had a question for me. He wondered if my bearings had been squished at all. These are the rod bearings. And I'm going to do a quick little measurement here. 1913 there on the new. And 1913 on the old. That's good news. Alright, and these are the same bearings. 06754/PR. 06754/PR. And they are the King Racing standard bearings. Pistons on the rods, pressed them in, circlips are in. Pistons are ringed. 3D printer for Christmas. It was a sweet gift. I printed out a ring compressor. I'll see how that works. Seems to have done the trick. I'll obviously need a bolt, but we'll see how it works. when I'm trying to put it in the motor. See, so the problem is I pop these pistons out and they gave me new rings, and you should get a new hone. And maybe I did something. No more pistons on the table. That's because they're in the motor. So, dude, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now. The cylinder walls look awesome. I mean, you know, for what I was given. Without heading to a machine shop, I made sure to check the flatness of the block with a true bar. That's good. The flatness of the head, which is hiding under there, that's good. Pistons are recoated, new rings, a light new hone, courtesy of that. We'll see what happens. And they're torqued. They're good. Progress. And the best part about it is I can clean up this stuff. See you later. And these, I was saving these just in case when I was popping them in, when I was sliding them in. So yeah, I was saving those rings just in case when I was sliding them in with my homemade 3D printed piston ring compressor, which by the way, it worked great, you know, considering it was free, right? Filament and awesome. It was great. No issues. No rings were cracked, chipped, bent, whatever, broken. Shout out to the wife for this. Awesome Christmas present. Love it. Now I get to move on. I got my new gasket. You can see it right in there. Got that new from Toyota. And bearings, right? I spun like 2 bearings on 2 different motors. So I got this baffle kit from Tomei. And your pickup like kind of just goes through that part and then it mounts right there, and then the baffle sits right over it. It's got some nice little cutouts there and there. Fits real nice. I didn't spin a bearing in this motor yet, so maybe it's doing something. I don't know. But seal this up. Motor's flipped around. Oil pan is on. Let's hope that doesn't come back off for a long time. And now I'm about to slap this head gasket on. It's the HKS. There's the part number. It's the 1.6 mil. They call it the stopper head gasket. I guess there's something kind of special in here that helps seal the cylinders. I'm sure there's something to crush in there. But either way, I surmised that I blew a head gasket, which popped out the freeze plug. So I got new freeze plugs to throw this on and cross my fingers. And for those of you wondering, there is only one way this can go on when you line up the dowel pins, right? So that all of these holes in here are not blocked by anything. Because, right, if I take this and spin it, dowel pins line up, all the studs line up, but this is blocked and that's blocked. That's no bueno. Just like that. And all your holes are open. Studs are in. Now, always awkward. Fake out. So I put the head on and I was having a hell of a time getting the washers in. Apparently, for as much as I take this motor apart, I don't remember how I put it back together in detail. The head back off, put the washers in, considering I already finger tighted my studs and I don't feel like taking them back out. So I'm gonna see if I can get the head back on with the washers already in place, because otherwise it's kind of impossible. I'm pretty sure it's, the way it is you put the head on, align it with the dowels, put in the studs through the washers, have the washers already in there, then put the studs in through there. I would do it that way next time. That method worked out really well. With the head off and the studs already installed, I put the washers where they belong, and there's like a slight recess on the intake side. There's a deeper recess on the exhaust side, which now I'm wondering if that's my issue. Anyway, slid on without issue. Do it that way. So I am flying right along in my reassembly. Really happy with how far I'm getting. It's amazing what you can do, how much you can get done without small kids interrupting you every 2 minutes. But I got my head studs torqued, 3 different stages, 33, 66, and 100. That's for the 625 plus head studs. And then I got my shimless buckets right on top of my valve springs there. And then I laid my cams, well, there's assembly lube all in there. And laid the cams on, cam caps, and then torqued them. It's always good to have your repair manual from Toyota. And this is the torque pattern. So that's the front of the motor, that's the rear. And just like that, 1, 2, and I walk it on. I don't crank it down immediately. It's just a little bit here and there. And then I am going to tighten to 14 foot-pounds. Cam caps are all tightened up. There's a procedure in the service manual that says to rotate the cam, loosen some caps, rotate the cam, retighten, retorque. You can see it right here. Rotate the camshaft with a wrench, turn it 1/3 of a revolution, loosen 8 caps. Yeah, so do that.